Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Now, today we're going to be reading a very exciting story. Kippers Monster. Tiger had a brand new torch. "It's the most powerful torch there is," he said to Kipper. He shone it at the big owl. He shone it at Hippo. He shone it into Kipper's face. "You should see when it's really dark," he said. "It's really good when it's dark." He sat in Kipper's basket and pulled the blanket over his head. "Come on, we need to make it dark under here," he said. Under the blanket was one of Kipper's storybooks. "That's another thing," said Tiger. "You can read under the bedclothes with a torch like this." Kipper began to read. Deep in the middle of the dark, dark wood there lived a horrible, horrendous, terrible, tremendous... "That's it!" shouted Tiger, jumping out. "We'll camp in the woods tonight. It'll be really, really, really dark in the woods." "Shall I bring my books?" asked Kipper. So they took the book and some biscuits and put up their tent in the middle of the woods at the bottom of the big hill. But as soon as it began to get dark, Tiger began to think that perhaps this wasn't a good idea after all. "Come inside and have a biscuit," said Kipper. "Do you want Rabbit or Owl or Big Owl?" But Tiger didn't reply. He was looking nervously out of the door. "Do you think there are any bears in the woods?" he whispered. "No, I shouldn't think so," said Kipper. He began to read. Deep in the middle of the dark, dark wood there lived a horrible... But Tiger wasn't ready. He asked Kipper to sit next to the door instead of him, and when Kipper tried again to read, Tiger got up and zipped the door shut altogether. But the third time Kipper tried to read, from somewhere outside the tent there came the most terrible, tremendous, horrible, horrendous screech! "What was that?" said Kipper. Tiger said nothing. "Let's go and look," whispered Kipper. So they crept out of the tent and into the woods, shining Tiger's torch ahead of them. "I think it came from somewhere near here," said Kipper. The torch beam lit up an enormous grey trunk of old tree. There in the middle was a dark, dark hole. Suddenly, a huge pair of yellow eyes blinked open, and from the hole came the most terrible screech. They shrieked and ran, bumping into each other, sending the torch flying. They scrambled into the tent and lay there, panting hard, listening. "I think it was just an owl," whispered Kipper. Yes, it was just a silly old owl. But behind him, the shadow of something was growing on the wall of the tent. Something with horns. "It's just a horrible, horrendous monster," squealed Tiger. The shape of the tent grew and grew till it was looming above them. Then it slowly changed into a shape that Kipper had seen before. Kipper crept back out of the tent and walked towards the torchlight. There, caught in the beam, was a small little snail. Kipper picked up the torch and let the snail cool in his paw. He looked at the snail closely. Its horns curled in and out as he touched them. "I found the horrible, horrendous monster. Look, Tiger." Tiger peeped out from underneath the blanket. He saw the snail. He saw its shadow. He felt silly. "Shall I read the story now?" said Kipper. But Kipper never did get to read this story, because they went home to Tiger's house, where they put the tent in Tiger's bedroom, and Tiger got to read it instead. So maybe such a small thing as a snail can look massive and look like a monster if a torch is shone on it. I hope you enjoyed that story today. That was Kippers Monster. I'll see you next Sunday for a very exciting story. Well, let me tell you, we might be getting a bit dirty. No spoilers. Anyway, bye guys!